Welcome to the Patriot Hour. I'm Michael, 3/12/18. We got Scott in the studio. This is part two. We're going to be getting into North Korea, President Trump, the pressure over the chaotic approach to the North Korea talks. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to get right into it, break it down for you. Patriot Hour. I'm Michael in the studio, your host for today. Again, if you're new to the channel, take a minute, go around, maybe subscribe after the video, like, share, comment.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. We really appreciate that, don't we,
It's growing.
Scott?
It's growing. So the Korean hypocrisy, I guess that's what we're going to get into this episode. We just did a little garage talk. Love me some garage talk. That's where we, after our first episode of the day, we'll go and just relax for a minute and kind of go over our thoughts, go over what we thought, how we did on the first episode, and then we get right into the topics at hand for the second episode. And Mike and I, there's a couple of them out there we'll probably segue into because I don't know how long we can actually talk about the Korean hypocrisy. I know enough to stay busy for 20 minutes or so, but Mike probably has a lot more input than I do. But so this episode, the Korean hypocrisy, we watched a little bit of the Rachel Maddow MSNBC. Can't say anything good about her. Just can't.
No, it's...
She's the definition of hypocrisy. I mean, she spent 10 minutes spewing about, oh my gosh, there's reasons why we've never had a president go over to Korea and meet with the leaders of North Korea. And she just ran on this rant, this tirade, and about every 30 seconds she repeated herself or stuttered. Basically what she was trying to tell us is, I hate Trump, as everybody knows anyway, and that he's a fool. The White House is a fool for wanting to talk to North Korea, but just a couple of months ago, every liberal in the country was screaming, oh man, we can't let Trump start this third war, a nuclear war.
Yeah.
He's crazy, and I hear it everywhere I go, the local legions or just anywhere. This guy has his thumb on the button. He's going to push the button. We're going to go to war with North Korea. So now he's open-minded and he's willing to sit and talk with, this is something the South Koreans are pushing too.
Well, who wouldn't, if you're going to, what do they want him to do, ignore, not, he's not asking for any, he's not even asking like, pull your military out first, do this, do that. He's like wanting to sit down. I think Kim reached out, right, as far as we know, is like, I want to sit down. So we have a president that's willing to go over there and talk, negotiate what more, what these people want.
I'd like to ask the question, the elephant in the room. If this happened under Obama's administration, and Obama was the first president ever to sit down with a Korean leader, you suppose they would have praised him?
Oh yeah,
sure. Look what Obama, he's doing so many great things, and I listened to a guy.
He's able to do what nobody else has done in decades, right?
And one guy actually did a series or show or whatever it was. It was just like 5 or 10 minutes, where he said, this is what Obama said he was going to do. We gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't help with peace. Obama, like Clinton, we're just going to continue to give this guy billions of dollars, and we'll keep a close eye on him.
Yes.
Every president in the last 30, 40 years pretty much did the same thing, Republican and Democrat. They turned a blind eye. They was just hoping that this guy, they always say,
let me get through my 8 years.
Black hole, or what they call it, black state, black society, whatever. And that's not a racist remark. That is the rest of the world, maybe the Koreans feel like they've been left out, or they keep to themselves. And I'm never going to defend North Korea because of what they do. There's a lot of atrocities going on there. People are being sold into slave labor and being murdered. If you speak up against the Korean regime, you're probably not going to like the end result. But so you got Trump that's at least, he didn't say, hey, I'm going to go shake hands with this guy. And like you said, he's not demanding anything. He's just open to a discussion. And you would have thought over the last couple of months that if that happened, they would have applauded him. And this is why we're calling this episode, or at least the beginning of the episode, the Korean hypocrisy.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's, on the side note on that, let's just go ahead and look at Trump's last tweet. Again, for these episodes, we like to keep it a little bit more mainstream, folks, but, we're going to use Trump's tweet here. Also, there's a figure out in the, the Q. If you've heard of the Q, we're not going to touch too much on that, but I'm going to bring up this tweet. Donald Trump, we're going to say this is on March 10th, so about 1:38 p.m. on March 10th, exactly at 1:38.
That would have been Saturday, yeah.
So Saturday at, midday, Trump tweets, North Korea has not conducted a missile test since November 28th, 2017, and has promised not to do so through our meetings. I believe they will honor that commitment. So then we had this anonymous poster put, I swear Trump is killing me here. Ha, ha, ha. He keeps putting out clues. He's already talked with Kim. And then, Q puts, you are learning. How many coincidences before it becomes mathematically impossible? Question mark. Wait until you learn who's been talking to you here. Other than that, that tells you, people don't give enough credit to the, sitting president right now. Who knows what he's done or who he's talked through, or some, not secret, but just, working in the realm of what you do when you're president. You have great guys around you and you're working out deals to, we all hope to make the world a better place. So let's keep that in mind here.
He's basically already said in his
they
tweet,
haven't done a test, right? Weren't they doing
through our meetings?
Yeah.
So
and since
they're already,
November.
This is not really, it's news to us. But they've already planned this. They've already planned this sit-down talk. So
Oh, yeah.
if they haven't fired any missiles since then, I got to assume that
They've been
months and
doing-
months and months
they've
ago,
been talking, right?
And oh my gosh, striving for peace. What a thought!
Oh, yeah.
What a thought!
And nobody's, putting that together at all.
This is part of the hypocrisy. If the other side got this far so far, they haven't sat down yet, but they've planned it. So here we are screaming for peace, 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 peace. Trump in the background has been working on it, or at least the White House staff has advised it and or planned it. So now it's going to come to fruition, and he's a son of a gun for doing it. I'm having a real hard time understanding why, kind of like with the Russians, you hear all this. We need peace, and we need this, and we got to do this, and we got to sit down with these folks. And then when he starts to do it, what is so wrong with being friends with the Russians and at least hearing out the Koreans? What harm can come from that? You all freaked out that and screamed since he was elected. Oh, he's gonna start World War III.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. And they're not going to report that spin, or they're going to spin it. And Rachel Maddow, boy, she did a good job of it. She said there might be a reason, Mr. Trump, why no presidents have ever done this. So she's trying to spin it in some kind of evil fashion.
Well, and she doesn't say what, but she's like, just think there might be a little reason right there, folks. Why? How, and it's like,
she can't grab onto anything else. So she's going to spin her hatred for Trump. I'm surprised anybody watches her show. But then again, I'm not.
Well, they get all-time low ratings. It's not a huge amount of people, but you're right. It's like, and I've come to this conclusion, and maybe that's why Trump operates. A lot of people are like, he shouldn't tweet. 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 3:30 in the morning, tweets come out of left field, they say. Well, is it really left field for a president with the level of knowledge he has access to?
Transparency.
Yeah. So he comes out, like we said, he can take the typical, most presidents come out at 8 in the morning, have a press briefing where you got, CNN, MSNBC, most of these media channels that aren't going to give him a fair shot. They're going to wait. He can come out literally. I thought about it over the night. I'm going to do something about the hunger in the world. They would spin right there, look at their cameras and say, you heard it here first, folks. He's going to feed the hunger around the world. What about our own veterans and our own homeless, right? So if he came out the other way, folks, I've made a decision last night. I'm going to work on the hunger here in America first. Our veterans, our homeless first here. They would turn, you heard it here first, folks. People are going to be dying around the world because our president's into only our hunger and veterans,
He can't do no right.
He cannot at this point.
My dad always said if you get into politics, or run for committees or school boards or whatever, be prepared to offend half the people,
And if it, like you said, if this was a Democratic constituent up there, Obama,
they'd give him a Nobel Peace Prize,
no matter what.
And I hate to spin that direction, but I will a little bit. What the hell did he ever do to receive a Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah. What peace did he bring? He dropped more bombs than the guy in front of him did. And everybody, Bush is just, he's war hungry. Well, do your math, do your own research. You'll find that Obama did a lot of things more.
And this goes back to some reason people love to defend organizations or things that they're part of when it is more rightful a duty for you to make sure it works properly. Where we're, if you had all this cheating going on and it can happen on both sides, and I'm sure it does, but we found out bigly this time it was happening within the DNC. Ugh. Had the head of this fired, this lady getting questions preamped, they were cheating, colluding, all this crazy stuff, but instead of calling it out, they almost defend it. They will help rebuttal it. Well, what really happened here.
Was it Comey that Pelosi and Schumer called for his head? And then several months later, when Trump finally fired, I can't believe it. Why would he do that?
Exactly.
This is the hypocrisy again. So we can spin this program, this episode,
that go forever. Yeah,
any direction we want because the hypocrisy. None of us are blind.
And we're not going to change them. We're trying to help you guys open your eyes and be aware of what's going on, because we're not going to change these people if they work in that realm. They act real crazy. And maybe, I guess I get it, the people on the other side too, because I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I look in with this other, I have my standards of what everyone's got to fit into. I don't let them manipulate me to, well, it's all right, I'm going to cover for them. No, I have this small thing here, and who can fit into that, and if not, I'll call you out, either way.
So he's the first president ever to meet with a Korean leader, which I guess we've talked about that a little bit. I applaud him for it. I didn't think this was going to happen. But something in the back of my mind told me that Kim Jong-il, whatever his name is, he probably does feel on an island. And I can get a little bit, get into conspiracy a little bit. You say this well. There's 3 countries in the world that are not part of the world banking system, right?
Yes.
Might 2 of them.
To 2 now.
Iran and North Korea,
and then it was Cuba.
So and
I
Cuba,
know we're doing something.
Right?
Something happened in the last administration. I'd have to look into that, but
So as much as I hate that what I hear is going on, and I've always been told believe none of what you hear and half of what you see, but I've always been told, and I always see that. The Koreans are they're a communist country, and people are being murdered and yada yada, and slave trader. Yeah. But
slave trades.
Yeah. And so now you have a president that's willing to talk with this guy that has felt alienated. And who am I to say that maybe they feel alienated because they don't want to be a part of the world banking system? So if I'm a conspiratist, I'm thinking, well, maybe the Iranians and the North Koreans, what things do they have in common? Number one, they're probably top 2 or 3 on our list of enemies. What else do they have in common? They're not part of the World Bank. Mm-hmm. And everybody else over the last 100 years has fallen in line with the way the World Bank, not the United States. Don't get this wrong.
No, it's called a centralized banking system.
Right, the NWO, whatever you call it. I like to call it the Table of 10. There is a group of people that are trying to get the entire world under one flag, if you will. So you look at it from the conspiracy side. Maybe the Koreans have a right to just be pissed off. That doesn't mean I agree with the slave and the murdering and all that stuff. But I can understand how they've always been reluctant. But now you have a president that, obviously their president called our White House and asked for a meeting. Trump didn't ask for it. He would be a fool not to sit down. Because and I know some of the liberals' heads will just spin completely around right now, but if there's a chance that meeting with this guy can put off any such military actions or wars or more hatred. And maybe we can just stop it and start heading the other direction. Now, I'm sure it's going to take years and years and years, if ever, that we become allies or friends. I mean, there's just been so much. If it took you 50 years to get here, it's going to take you that much to get out of it.
At least. That's with, getting more Patriots and just keeping it filled with that, for the next 50 years.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I agree.
And back in 1999, Trump actually was quoted saying, "Take him out now." Him as a businessman, I mean, like it or not, he is knowledgeable of the world affairs because of his business associations around the world.
Look at this.
Wow.
So I don't know what these photos, again, Q were kind of dropping.
Well, that's North and South Korea. I think I did see that earlier this morning.
Okay, well, this was on Q. An anonymous poster posted this on the 5th of March, and then Q posted, "Water? Why is this a big event? What does it signify? Why has North Korea been out of the news as the world turns?" So yeah, I don't quite. I was going back through here, folks, to try to find this. Now that we're talking about it, North Korea, there's been some interesting posts for sure, and I'm trying to just track this one down. But
while you're doing that, I'll get to one of my last points. In '99, he's telling the world, basically, at least the United States government, take them out now. They are a problem. They're going to continue to be a problem. And since then, we've given them billions and billions of dollars. So we've done nothing to stop their nuclear abilities. We've actually done everything to help them. By giving them the money and then turning a blind eye. Kind of like Iran, when you send skid loads of billions of dollars over there.
Yes.
It just blows my mind that the last 30 or 40 years, on both sides of the fence, they thought that they could just buy themselves out of trouble. Well, if I'm a lunatic and you're worried about me getting my hands on weapons of mass destruction, let alone nuclear capabilities, why in the hell would you give me more money to further my cause? What do you think I'm going to do with that money? Now, I'm sure at the treaty or whatever the agreement was, well, we're going to use that money for economic aid. Well, that garbage. You just gave them billions and billions of dollars. They haven't agreed to stop their nuclear activities yet. I just don't understand the logic behind let's give them more money and hope that they stop. And when you do that for 30 or 40 years, I bet they do have nuclear capabilities. And if they don't, well, shame on them. They've obviously had enough money to do their research.
Exactly. Okay, I found one. This probably isn't exactly, but I just wanted to read it. This is from December 22nd at 1:26. Who controls North Korea? ? Who really controls North Korea ? So that's a question. And again, there's another one. I think it was more recent where he puts, some people, some things have to be hidden till the end. And it was talking about North Korea. And it literally said,
there's your comment about
riot.
Financial leverage. This goes back to your conversation. You enlightened me several months ago to this, the World Bank. So even Q just made a comment in there about, oh boy, you jumped, so I have to go from memory now. The banking, the leverage.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's, damn.
I wish we had more articles on that, because I think I am right where I'm saying that Iran and North Korea are the last two. Now, wrap your brain around it, do your own little bit of reading on this, because this one gets real deep. But if you look at the World Bank and how it's orchestrated and who's in control of it and what countries have fallen to us, Iraq was one that wasn't part of the World Bank. Cuba was one. You look at where we've spent the most time, resources, military, whatever, along with some of our allies. It doesn't take very long to realize that there is some kind of agenda, because I've always said, why aren't we in Africa? Millions and millions of people are there getting, macheted. Their arms are being cut off, the diamond trade, this. And I'm a patriot, diehard patriot, but you cannot convince me that we're in the Middle East for freedom.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
You could convince me if we went to Africa with, the Third Army or, 400,000 troops and or North Korea that we're trying to save lives, but we're not doing that. What they're doing is financial pressure, and they spin it on live TV to convince everybody at night at 7 o'clock in the evening that, oh, we're going to put regulations on them. It has nothing to do with financial regulations. The media will tell you that we're regulating or we're going to limit the aid that we give them. What they're meaning to tell you, because they can't tell you, is they must join the World Bank network or we will go to war.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it's been working. If you look at the history books, it's all right there in plain sight, folks. I mean, a lot of things have been, a little bit, history's written by the winners. The losers typically aren't around.
Right.
Right?
They don't have an opinion in said history book.
Yeah, history is, again, it's his story. His story.
Oh, God, I love the way you say that.
The winner. So I pulled up North Korea for a talking thing. Just we can maybe just bring in a couple of these. Okay, and now I've got froze up on me. I hate that.
Technology, baby.
There it is.
Technology.
So I put in North Korea NK, which is on the Q post. That's how you find it. So here's one from March 10th. The Nazi Order.
Oh, boy.
NWO. N does not refer to new. It's the Nazi Order. The sum of all fears, North Korea, POTUS, hostage, threat, disarm, stage set, freedom, Q. This was Saturday at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m.
I think that will not shock as many people. I was not shocked when you showed me this. The N does not stand for new because, even in the WCW or wrestling, in the the millennials generation, NWO, New World Order. I wasn't shocked when Q opened my eyes to it doesn't mean new. The
Exactly.
Nazi Order. Hitler was the first one they tried with.
Their little puppet master that they built up and funded. And so again, we'll go through a few more. How about this one, 839? Do you think Antifa was grown organically? Purpose?
And Antifa's old. They were, 1933?
Yes.
The reversal, and maybe we can find, if I get on a spiel here in a minute and Mike has a few seconds, maybe we can find the Antifa flag today in the Antifa flag of the Nazi Party.
Well, I thought...
All it is a mirrored image.
Exactly.
And this...
It's right here. I can get us there, I think.
It's amazing. When I first seen it, I thought, oh, my God. And it kind of goes along with what's going on, all these Antifa movements or whatever. It's supposed to be...
Is this it?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Now, it's not exactly the same, but if we were going to put it into a percentage, I would say that was about 80% the same.
Let me make sure.
Wow.
Okay. So...
Anti-fascist. But they're bullies. They're big-time bullies. The guy in England that was just doing a broadcast like we do, but he was doing it from the streets. 10 of these guys with their masks on attacked him.
Okay,
and tried
this one's reversed. This one they're showing,
Yeah.
the 2017, and so it's got a black flag, red flag underneath, but on the we're seeing red here, black underneath. Okay, there's that one. So I don't know if they just have it reversal. I don't know what represents for red to the half black, half. I don't know what if that signifies.
But if you follow along in the media world or Facebook, I have a few that I debate with a lot, and they always want to say, the white supremacists of this country, this, that. Do you know who you're talking about when you talk about Antifa? They're using the young generation trying to, and this is no different than what Hitler tried to do. And actually, he didn't try. Hitler was successful. I mean, they eradicated, or they did eradicate a population from within their own communities, at least during the war. And then it took some time after the war for those people to come back to their communities. But so...
Look at this one. Way back in November, big drop. How did North Korea obtain uranium? How did Iran obtain uranium?
Gave it to them.
Why did Barack Obama send billions in cash and wire to Iran? Why the cash component? Was a hostage component a cover? For what? What is relevant? Who controls North Korea? Who really controls North Korea? Don't think of a single person. Think of a powerful entity.
Correct. I like the one above that. It says, how many planes carried the cash into Iran?
Oh, right above.
Now,
Okay.
what relevance does that have? Because I would assume that a
planes?
C-137 could have carried all the money. But what is he trying to tell us right there? You know damn well one plane, one C-137 could have carried in $1 zillion. They carry tanks, for God's sakes. But
So look, we got, since this one's older, and from November 2nd, we can hit the answers. And there's probably some pretty good. How did North Korea obtain the uranium? Here's some articles, links to we can go right to and read. How did Iran apply an uranium one deal? Yeah. Why the cash? So the money could never be traced. Was the hostage component a cover? Yes. For what? An excuse to send them money. Could any of the cash component be handed off to other people? Of course. How many planes carried the cash? There were 2 deliveries.
2.
Why did the planes carrying the cash depart from
Land. Depart from and land.
Geneva, Switzerland departure?
Where did they? Where did the planes?
Oh, okay, where, not why.
Geneva, Switzerland departure. World Bank.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did all land in the same location? No. Why is this relevant? The money wasn't sent to just one agent. Who controls North Korea? Kim Jong-un. Who really controls North Korea? CIA. The Organization and Guidance Department of Korean Workers' Party, the OGD,
is the crooks. The crew of real.
Okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to symbolic dictator powerful in North Korea. Why is this important?
Wow.
CIA is behind North Korea's geopolitical actions. Whoa. Okay, so we just kind of stumbled on that.
So, basically, the reason they've been propped up, so all these other presidents have allowed this, and we know Trump is putting an end to a lot of stuff. I mean, he is the thorn in the side of anybody trying to do anything illegal. I'm trying to wrap my brain around this, but I think logically, and I got to believe that if we wanted North Korea either A, wiped off the planet, and or their leader taken out, isn't that a task that our special forces can easily do? I know some people say, well, they got all their missiles pointed at South Korea, so millions will die if we try to do anything. I don't believe so.
No.
Right? We've propped up and eliminated so many leaders around this world. Something is going on in North Korea that they've been allowed to do what it is that they're doing.
Exactly.
And maybe Kim is tired of being a puppet. Maybe Trump is giving him an out here. Maybe that's what's gonna. Maybe they both are gonna get. I hope not, but maybe I am right. Maybe that the CIA, maybe this guy in this country has been a puppet of ours forever, and they've gotten to the point where they're just irate with us. And then Trump becoming president kind of finds out some new information, because back in '99 he said wipe them out now.
Oh yeah.
Why isn't he sticking to that plan anymore? Does he now know information? And I don't know. I'm just theorizing here.
That's how I think it always works. You got presidents or people running during their campaign promising things to normal people like ourselves, like they are normal themselves. They don't, once you become president and you get that clearance and maybe this book kind of gets passed, I think that's why over the years we've seen so many people promise the world what they're going to do. Once they get in, what happens?
Yeah. So the camera's still here on the and does not refer to Nazi. Nazi ideology. Events will clarify.
Is relevant. Events will clarify. Think subgroup. The end does not refer to Nazi.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that this morning, along with what you've helped me uncover and study, it would not blow me away to find out that the North Koreans, like I just said, have been irritated for some time. Trump in '99 has said, wipe them off the planet now, deal with them now. And now all of a sudden they're willing to talk. So maybe Kim has said to himself, finally Trump has the real truth in front of him. And maybe Trump wants to, oust another group, You know, he tried to do it with Hillary. That's still going on, but it just seems to me that most of the world tends to get along or see eye to eye enough to where nuclear war never really, it doesn't come up. That hasn't happened since the 50s. So
Okay, I found this one. I wanted to read it real quick while we're on this whole subject. This is awesome. All right, so this is post 29, November 1st. So this is like 3 days after Q started posting 29 in the series, and I think we're up to 950. Some things must remain classified to the very end. North Korea is not being run by Kim. He's an actor in the play. Who is the director? The truth would sound so outrageous, most Americans would riot, revolt, and reject. The pedo networks are being dismantled. The child abductions for satanic rituals, i.e. in Haiti and other third world countries, are paused, not terminated until players in custody. We pray every single day for God's guidance and direction as we truly are up against pure evil.
wow.
That's let's look at a couple answers, see if so the pedo networks are being dismantled. Now that is a fact, folks. I know people don't want to we have not seen it, the works of what's going on worldwide in comparison to since Trump has stepped in. Now, again, is that a reason why there's a lot of resistance against them? I don't want to
Partially, maybe.
I don't want to conspire or make up conspiracies, but
well, if you're up to no good and he's promising to bring you down.
How do we make sense of some of these people for our whole lives that we have seen on the media parading around under the guise of being, I'm a Republican? You know, the Bushes, I mean, they were Republican Party members for president. The guy's name we don't say, McCain.
Oh, man.
Why did they jump ship this cycle? It's weird. It's like, and they weren't even in the limelight. I didn't hear from George Bush Jr., or whatever for all these years. And then it's like towards the end of the campaign, he comes out, I'm supporting Hillary, vote for Hillary. I was like, what the hell? I mean, why? What is Trump saying that you don't like?
Yeah. They all had a common enemy. And that scares the hell out of me. And this goes back to one of the biggest reasons
nobody wants to believe that.
Why I voted for him was, he wasn't a politician. He was refreshing. He kind of speaks like a common man, and you can say that's good, bad, whatever, but he is so hated by so many groups, it kind of makes you wonder why. Now, they won't talk about it on live TV. They won't say what their real reasoning is for not liking him. They just try to persuade you that they're right. Tune in. We'll tell you why you should hate Trump. This topic, the Korean hypocrisy, is another reason why I voted for him. I encouraged other people to vote for him. I didn't predict this. I didn't know that he was going to do this, but I have been defending him up to this point where people are, he's going to push the button. He doesn't strike me for that type of guy. I've listened to him enough. I've went back in the past and listened to some of his interviews. I just truly believe he's reached a point in his life, his age, his success. Like, he didn't need to do this, but he's doing it, and so far, I sure am glad he's doing it.
Oh yeah.
And like
who could be wrong about
what's wrong with peace talks?
Well, how many? I just tell people that, and it blows their minds. Well, how many pedophile things have you heard about? At least. Oh, what, you think Trump's out there busting them like he's knocking door to door? No, I don't. No, I know he's not. But the authority, we know, rolls downhill, right? So why wasn't this happening under any other administration?
He could have easily went to one of his guys, because being president, it's your job to, you defer or to somebody else. You
don't
delegate.
Worry about that over there. How was Obama able to tell the Border Patrol, when he made an executive order for the Dreamers, he subverted, regardless whether how you guys feel about that, that's fine. He made an executive order. But at that point, he was going against what law said. I mean, you have all these guys that are trained and how to do things for the border, but you literally had to go and say, you guys, there's a certain group here, don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Don't apply our law to them. And it's real touchy and weird, but, still go after these groups over here. And Obama still deported people.
Sure he did.
And things are still going on.
He campaigned to do more of it. And,
Yes.
and so did the presidents before him.
Yes.
Trump campaigned the same way.
Exactly.
All of it. And again, I know
None of these people wrote the law on that, by the way. They're just either upholding it or not upholding it, right? That's how.
Well, if you're not upholding the law, what are
you
doing?
doing?
You're breaking the law.
And you took the oath in any of these offices.
All these mayors,
judges,
and
senators,
and sanctuary cities.
Yes.
You know, that's a spin of that's hypocrisy.
We went over that in that other video. That guy that gets up in front of the judge. He's like, "How dare you not and light the fire of the magistrate and cold." You know what I'm saying?
Who the hell do you think you are?
Even
sir?
letting these people come into this courthouse today and hearing them, putting them on the books.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be.
If you're an illegal and you're in the minutes of a political committee here, any kind of hearing, unless you're defending yourself because you've been charged with and you're on trial, if you're not a citizen,
invited,
you don't get to walk in that courthouse and give your opinions.
Yeah,
citizens are allowed.
Shouldn't be heard.
Right? I'm not trying to be a jerk or a villain about it, but listen, man, as a citizen, I don't get to do half the. I mean, I feel slapped in the face too often because the left agenda, the hypocrisy of we'd rather give illegals your rights, Scott.
Yeah.
And we just need you to just sit down and tolerate it. Well, tolerate is one of my favorite words too. We always talk about the what offended.
Oh yeah,
offended is probably you don't get leprosy, but tolerate. They want us to continue to tolerate their agenda. It's not working. All you're really doing, and I think that I said this an episode or two ago, they're starting to understand that by asking us to tolerate and calling us deplorables and putting us into a gun-crazed group. I mean, they keep categorizing us into these nasty labels.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes, they
and
do.
their entire party for decades and decades have always been from the other side. Peace, love, happiness. Well, no. So now your hypocrisy has gotten to the point to where you all literally said, we don't want a war. Why can't Trump sit down with this guy and talk? Why can't we figure this out with communication? Now he's attempting to do it. There's no attempt. He's going to do it unless something bad happens in between now and then. God, don't want to see that happen. But now that he's attempting to do this, what they all asked for, now he's a jerk. Now he's wrong again.
Well, it's like we said, they for this whole last year, I have heard Trump referred to as Hitler.
I see. Yeah, there's so much they have in common. Yeah.
But now this certain group of the community is trying to hand their guns over to him. So
what did you say the one day to me? This is crazy, and I know we're recording and whatnot, so I got to watch my verbiage and whatnot. But you said to me not too long ago something along these lines. They want to call him Hitler, right? What is he doing to be Hitler-like? The other party is the one after your rights. If Trump was such a Hitler, do you suppose that he'd be talking peace? Do you suppose he'd be protecting our Constitution? Do you suppose he'd be ousting pedophile groups? What is he doing?
That's what they keep saying. It's like he's a racist, and then it's like, well, he just gave 1.8 million people this, and we know that they're about 100% of opposite skin color. Well, he's a subvert. It's like he's a hidden racist. He's going to do a whole bunch of things, and 4 years will go by, and everyone's built up, and but eventually he's going to screw us all. Yeah. But right now, it's everything's really good, looks good. Actually, looks the best that it's ever looked. And
but you made a point to tell me, and I'm having a hard time remembering. I hope that you do. So they're painting him in this nasty picture when in reality, they're the ones acting that way. But
I got it right here. It's like this. When he was running and you were standing next to these people that weren't for Trump, they're telling you, Scott, Mike, if he wins, there's going to be rioting and fighting in the streets. And you're like, wow, really? I don't know. And then when he won, there was. And then you went and you pulled that mask off. It would be that guy that told you that.
Right.
And you're like, oh, my God, you said that. And he's like, yeah, I told you. And you're like, no, but you're doing it. Now you were telling me you were going to do it. That's besides the point. I told you there'd be rioting. And then he runs off and riots. Or he's Hitler. He wants our guns. No, he doesn't. And then, well, hey, you're giving him your gun. Joe, you actually went and threw your gun on the White House lawn in that demonstration with everyone else. It doesn't matter. And if you notice, they picked them guns up the next day. Well, yeah, they can't have guns laying on the White House lawn. They had to pick them up and get rid of them. But, they took them.
So it's the hypocrisy.
You gave him your gun. But, yeah, you're forcing him to be Hitler. You're trying to paint the picture that you want to be. He's not falling into your design, so you're going to create the rioting. So there was rioting in the streets.
Premeditated. And I didn't know. Somebody would have to tell me, but Antifa didn't exist when I was a kid. It didn't exist 10 years ago, as far as I know. And if it did,
well, that's why I was showing that flag. They should, I didn't know if it had existed.
But they're not. And if you want to argue, write in, comment in, come sit in this chair, because this one, I'll get irritated, and we can have a strong debate. I watch Antifa. We all do. Now, you have to watch different news media when this type of stuff happens, because they spin it. The bottom line is Antifa have burnt cars, burnt down buildings, assaulted old women.
And real terroristic acts.
They're not out there like the 60s liberal hippies. Peace, love, happiness, and then the man had to come with a hose and spray them. That was a time you could have convinced me that meet in the middle liberalism was okay. I don't ever remember now. The riots were crazy, but you actually are trying to convince me that you are peace, loving, happiness. Trump's a racist, bigot, enemy of the state, and you're out terrorizing people for being white, being Christian, being conservative, being Trump supporter. Whatever it is that you're out there protesting, you're doing it out of hatred. No longer are they standing there. They got masks on, black man, like the AR. Why is the AR so scary? Well, it's black, and it's assault looking. Well, you scare the hell out of me by, not honestly, no, you don't, but by wearing your black masks and holding your shields up and your riot gear. What the hell is so peace loving about that? You're trying to convince a large group of this country to side with you, while you're doing it with violence, proclaiming that they're the ones that are violent. Well, you guys have white supremacists in your conservative party. I can't help that.
Yeah.
I have you have radical leftists in your party.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the far left, far right. Let's talk about your majority is hypocritical.
Oh, like you said, there's been, and I'm sure it's happened on both sides. One popping in my head because we're talking about it is, I don't know, some Trump supporter, or not even a Trump supporter. I think this one was a kid that just came walking through a whole bunch of Antifa or extreme leftists, and he had like a Hitler shirt on. He talked to nobody. He was just walking, and they're all like, "Look, he's got a Hitler shirt on," and they grabbed him, beat him up.
Beat the hell
out
of him.
They will kill this person.
Yeah.
And be like, he's got to go. And then, a reporter can come up. Oh my gosh, you guys just killed this man. He is dead on the ground. What are your reactions? He needed to die. Did you see his shirt? Yeah. And they will paint this picture that this guy was representing something that took place, yes, a long time ago. Did this guy do anything? No, he come walking by with this shirt on. But what about you and your actions? And they almost don't see themselves that they went crazy and became an animal and just tore this guy apart and ripped his arms and face off, and they think they did good. And it's like, no, you kind of trumped what he did with the shirt on because that's he's protected.
He had a right.
Like it or not, he was protected. But when you put your hands on him, you committed these assaults, these crimes. And they will, people will rally this one guy on that maybe goes that far and really puts a hurting on this guy and will bail him out and think that he was just doing the right thing. And what that guy's shirt represented was crazy compared to that act that you just did.
I am sick to death of any time, and you and I don't claim to be, we're constitutionalists, right?
First and foremost.
I do know that I'm a liberal conservative. If you had to ask me, I am somewhat liberal, but my values are conservative, most of them. But I am sick to death of any time somebody portrays me as, well, you're a conservative, Scott. You vote red. You don't know that to be true, but
maybe most of the people that come up on the ballot, the conservative right. I have a lot more beliefs that line up with them coming out of the being a constitutionalist.
Well,
they just it
the
makes
right
sense.
tends to stay with the Constitution and don't try to change it, and the left always is trying to change it.
Yes.
That's fact.
That's a huge
the-
one of the huge differences right there.
But to put and I'll put it in perspective.
But you said it right. You have these other beliefs that get derived out of this group here and that group here. So there's this perfect thing that you have in your head, and we have not probably seen somebody that way. Trump's probably working closest to it than I've seen in my lifetime. But yeah, how that's where people get, well, my guy that I'm putting up, or this Hillary, she doesn't blend into this, and I have those beliefs, but I'm willing to let them go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, you
I
shouldn't.
tend to vote the way my Constitution. I tend to vote the way my rights are. Don't
Yes.
change them.
Don't
I don't
subvert
need
them.
you. No.
There's a proper way to
There's
do that.
always good ideas and things you can do without changing the Constitution, and I tend to vote the direction that my Constitution stays the way it is. I don't want change. But what I was gonna say was, I am tired of, because I'm Caucasian. If we're gonna, you know what, I'm an American. You can call me. I'm a dark white man. So we can call it. Maybe we need to start a new category. But because I'm a certain looking man, and because I tend to vote one direction over the other, does not put me in the same group of the crazy people in Montana that live in a a big compound and they walk around with swastikas. Antifa, you're actually closer to those people than I am. They're
Yes.
radical. You're radical. I would much rather sit down and debate you and beat the snot out of you with words
Facts
and facts and watch you just squabble, because
Yes.
every time I see somebody put a camera in front of one of these guys' face, what is it that you're fighting?
They don't really
Trump's
know.
got to go.
Yeah, he's
What
a
the
right
hell
guy.
did Trump have to do with you beating the hell out of an 80-year-old woman that happened to be walking by, or you lit her car on fire,
Yeah.
or you burnt down the neighborhood grocery store? Well, Trump's got to go.
Yeah, what's
You're
that have
ignorant.
to do with it?
Nothing good. So you are just as radical as the people that you put me in a category with. I can't be a white voting Republican in this country without some idiot saying, well, you're a racist, Scott. You know, that dog won't hunt with me. If you want to sit and you want to come right here, sit on down, and you explain to me why me being my skin color with my beliefs makes me a radical.
Exactly.
And then I will spin it around on you and ask you the same questions. You want to remove my rights. You want to scream and yell at me. You want to call my mother, my sister, my wife, my kids, every name in the book. You want to burn my business down. You want to assault me with your military or gear, your baseball bats, whatever it is. Hold your signs up. Aren't you closer to the ones you're comparing me to than I actually am? And that goes down to the word hypocrisy.
Exactly. No, and they don't even realize it, I don't think, on a level, or they're just, that is what is scary, folks. That right there.
The word hypocrisy is attached to everybody's freedoms. You know, they want your rights. In the meantime, they still want the right to be able to take your right. You can't break the law. I mean, again, we're back to the old Patriot Hour agenda. Stay the course. There's the Constitution. I'm not asking you to give up your rights.
Yeah.
Don't take mine. We're going to have a serious problem when you start taking my rights. And your right does not trump my right. My right doesn't trump yours. You have the right to freedom of speech, but I draw the line at freedom of speech when you start destroying communities and people, injuring, whatever, assaults.
No, I think there's a huge, I mean, I don't know, where we were looking at Florida in the last episode and what they're doing with laws, and it's already passed. But, I mean, there's been a lot of, we have a huge, the NRA, they're not going to go easy. We have a lot of gun lobbying companies, or, organizations.
Lobbyists and advocates on both sides.
And this is getting down to, when you sit there and hold that debate, folks, the whole Second Amendment, it's something you don't, I don't even have to hold. I'll hold it sometimes with people shortly, but it can be ended with, hey, there's a way to ratify, get your people, get your paper, get it all signed up, get your little movement, and I'll meet you in the courthouse when it gets to that point, because this is a conversation we don't even need to really hold. The reason they are holding it and trying to hold it up in the media is to just get the people talking about it, and make, and of course, anytime there is an event, that involves guns.
Oh, big topic. Yeah.
That is when a lot of people are most vulnerable to be open to new ideas, and that's when they really hammered in. So
when you kill a large group of kids, you're
able to
pulling
open
on
up
my
some doors.
heartstrings.
Yeah.
You almost got me to the point where I almost am willing to say, you know what, if we just did get rid of all the guns, and Mikey, I'm gonna tell you, if you could magically make a wish and a genie or God or whoever you believe in or whatever, if they can make all guns and all weapons on the planet disappear, I'd be all for it.
That's what I tell people every time.
Because then I wouldn't have to fear a government either.
It's never
because
a
they don't
gun
have power
ban.
over
Right
me.
now, they're not talking about a gun ban. Even that Florida, we could probably hit them up and take them to court over the fact that they are. It's a lie. It's a misrepresentation because they're putting gun ban. Okay, so you're banning these? Well, now it's a gun shift, or because you're banning them from citizens, but everyone's always saying, well, the military should have it, the police probably, and then at that point it's going to be military, police, and then criminals, people that want them anyway.
What part of that conversation is a republic?
Yeah,
Exactly. If you allow the police and the government. With police are part of it. So if you allow the government to be the only ones that have them, you just ask for a police state.
That's right.
Not on my watch.
That's
not
right.
on my watch.
Not when, like I said, the Second Amendment tells us specifically.
Primary reason.
Not in case a bear breaks into your back door and you need to blast the bear down. It tells you of this government. So these same founding fathers were aware of their own constituents possibly way down the road, and they're warning you, and it's like, that's it, folks. So why hold that conversation with these same very people that it's protecting you from? Isn't that kind of weird? Wrap your mind around that one.
Do you know why they wrote the Constitution? Because they looked at the king, stuck up their middle finger, and told him to screw off. They broke all the laws. They needed a constitution to protect a tyrannous government from making that ever happen again. They were smart about it. They knew. They broke the laws to start their own country. And while doing that, they were smart enough to understand
tell the audience that, looking right into your camera, and keep going.
So you just interrupted. So that kind of we broke away from Great Britain, right? We told the king, screw off. And then yet these Jeffersons and Washingtons and John Adams and Hancocks of the world were smart enough to understand, listen, we got to protect this from happening to this great country that we're founding right now. So let's write a Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment. Let's stop a tyrannous government. Because if the king wasn't a tyrant, they wouldn't have ever revolted. So I guess what I'm trying to say is they knew why they were leaving the king and telling him to screw off. And then they wanted to make sure, well, we can't repeat history. That's the old adage. Make sure you don't repeat history. If you want the United States, if you want America to be successful, thank God our founding fathers were smarter than our politicians today. They broke the law. They understood why they were breaking it for a good reason, they thought. And they wanted to make sure that no government ever in this country would be so tyrannous to make another revolution, because they understood we don't understand what it costs for freedom. During the Revolutionary War, lots of people died. During the Civil War, somebody was trying to leave, right? Lots of people died. World War II, somebody was trying to conquer, lots of people died. The reason our founding fathers put this in play, and you hear this all the time, checks and balances.
Yep.
Our Second Amendment right is the check and the balance of the government with us. And they know it. So they're going to continue to do this, and I'm so glad our founding fathers wrote the Bill of Rights, and I'm so glad the Second Amendment is in there. I'm glad the First is in there. Hell, I'm glad they're all in there. The only one I can't stand is Roe versus Wade, and I'm not even going to get into that one.
No.
But that would be part of the hypocrisy. It's okay to kill babies, but don't kill them with guns.
And we're going to wrap it up here, folks. I'm going to give Scott the final thought here in a minute. And bringing up the Bill of Rights, whole nother topic. Just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if me and Scott have talked about it too much, but I did an episode on it, and Q did bring it up earlier yesterday or over on Saturday. Again, he did hashtag Internet Bill of Rights. So we know right now we're currently under a system where the ISPs, the companies, they have control. There was a thing a few months back that we were under, and for the last several years, called net neutrality, which was bundled to look good, but it was government regulation. Not in support of that. If you look at the phone companies, not so much cell phones, but the 30s, the way that the telephone, Mall Bell, original telephone, when the government came in with the regulations and how, taxes and things start getting a little juicy. So no, it's not always a good thing. So the Internet Bill of Rights, it's like we have been ramping up on this technology, and companies have, stood up and over the last several decades have implemented things to protect them, specifically movies and music, right? And they got like the Digital Millennium Copyright Act from the early 2000s. So that was one in history that kind of like, we need to catch up with the times and the laws, right? So there's three things, and I had broke this down. We got net neutrality we can go with, which is government regulation. Now bundled in there, they have a really good looking thing at the front of that. And we were under it temporarily, I think, with Obama. Trump just got rid of it, which honestly, folks, it looked good. Like I said, the companies had to treat a bit for a bit. They couldn't hinder anything. But the Bill of Rights is more of one for us, I think, kind of like our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. So our Bill of Rights for the internet could be putting, when we go to work with these companies, they're going to have to abide by this Bill of Rights, no matter who you're with. Correct. That's how they got to operate. So look into that. We're going to maybe delve into that a little bit more next week. It's getting some momentum. It's up on the White House petition. I've done an episode, so check into that. I'll maybe link it at the end of this video. But we're going to wrap it up here. We are at the hour mark. Scott, anything closing?
I'm going to end I'm going to spin off of what you just kind of said. I'm going to use the word precedence. Just understand your rights. Understand that setting a precedence is scary for one reason. If you let them take that little piece, they're going to come back for another piece, and before you know it, they gobble off a whole bunch. So protect your rights. Understand the word precedence. Don't let them start one. It's very simple. You have a constitution. Follow it. Don't change it. There's lots of things you can accomplish without changing the Constitution. Let's focus on that.
I agree. You heard it. That was Scott. Closing thoughts. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, maybe some comments in this down below, and we'll use those for next week. Something that you want to hear, us to tackle, us to really get into. You let us know, because that's what we're here for, to work for you guys, bring you what you want to hear. So again, I'm Michael from the Patriot Hour. God bless, and we'll see you in the near future.
Protect those rights.
Keep fighting for them.